Okay, so now it's September 15th, right? I'm trying to upload. I'm going to put this first and then everything else that I didn't upload on BitChute. I don't know if BitChute's trying to censor the video that I'm trying to upload right now, people. Because it's just not going through. I've done it twice. And it's been like a couple of hours and nothing's gone through. So it makes me think that I'm kind of being censored. And if you notice, I'm not putting it up on YouTube, although I don't see why I can't, but I can't deal with the bullcrap, people. I just, I mean, we all know there's something going on that's not right. Okay, we're not stupid. So what I'm doing right now, not that it really means much, but remember those purple yam or purple sweet potato in the larger chunks? Well, in the larger chunks, I'm just jarring them up right now, and I'm going to vacuum seal anyway to start, because I've got a box that needs to go downstairs, right? And I need two jars full, so I'm going to vacuum seal these, and I'm putting in one of these things in each jar, because you know, because it's gummy and it's got a lot of sugar, and when you dehydrate, sometimes inside it could be just a little moist, and because of that could be enough to, you know, create a problem. So that's why I'm putting that in there. One, because I have it now, and two, I just think it will look after this a little better, right, in terms of just in case, right? Because otherwise everything is really dry and crunchy, okay? But I'm a little concerned because of the sugar, right? And those pieces were, they weren't uniform. So what you think might be dry might be a little moist on the inside. And, you know, it might only be one out of the whole jar, right? And that one could cause a problem, right? So I'm trying to alleviate any problems. I'm a little annoyed that I feel like I'm being censored by BitChute, but I'm going to keep, I mean, if these things don't go, if this video doesn't go through, it's only a 15-minute video. You know, it's in regards to the province of British Columbia, Canada, and, you know, their pre-recorded live streams, in my opinion, restreamed 6 to 7 days after the fact, right? Going on talking about how they're going to hire real people to replace the people that quit their jobs, even though they've been in the public sector union working in healthcare for years and 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 years, as if they're just going to up and quit their jobs. Yeah, okay. So anyway, I got that video trying to, you know, I'm pointing out myself personally that we're not dealing with, when it comes to elective officials, we're not dealing with normal human beings. Something's happened to them, right? And, you know, whoever removed them as an original and replaced them with something else, we need to hold them to account, because otherwise nobody is safe. All right? I mean, obviously, these individuals that are posing as human beings and politicians, I mean, you can't save them, right? It's impossible, because their fate is already written in code, right? And, you know, whether they get replaced monthly, it doesn't really matter. They're not the authentic. They're not the original. That person is long gone. And so I'm going to keep trying to upload that video anyway. So if you want to see it, every now and then I do. I have to put it up there. I'm not in the mood for a strike right now. because they're trying to hide the truth, right? They don't like debate. You know, they're not up for controversy because they're too busy ramming home misinformation and a political agenda that clearly is outside of the box in terms of it doesn't benefit the people of British Columbia, Canada. No, it benefits something else in a different realm, country, region, jurisdiction, territory, however you want to call it. So I'm going to end this video, but I'm going to put this first because at one point, I think yesterday, or it was the day before, I was talking about Freddy, who just recently died. And, hold on a minute.
Bread. What do they do with a lot of these kids that they take from, natural, quote, disasters, which I believe are not natural disasters at all. I believe they're planned harvesting, because I believe the people who are in control of all of this need the blood. Hence the red. We're talking about the Rothschilds. We're talking about the Rockefellers. We're talking about the Pacers. And these families go on and on and on as well. They are making...
Okay, it looks like that video went up. Now there's two of them. So one went up. So there you go. So much for censorship. I think what happens is at certain times of the day, there's just so many people uploading videos that their server gets backed up. It started to play, so it should work. It's only a 15-minute video, people. Okay? And seriously, like, we need to figure out, seriously, what's behind the scenes. Okay, so back to Freddy. Now, Freddy was ShaMay's boyfriend for 5 years. Really, her first boyfriend, okay? She had her kissing boyfriend that she used to meet at the SkyTrain to kiss him goodnight as he was leaving Surrey to go home from work. Outside of that, that's all he was, just a kissing boyfriend. And she was young. And then she met Freddy. And for whatever reason, she was with him for 5 years. Okay, I don't want to get into it. Long story short, you know, Freddy had his ups and downs just like every young person out here in Surrey. Okay, because it's rough out here for the young people. Okay, I can't get into it right now because I just want to keep this short. And I guess at some point he succumbed to drugs to the point where I guess addiction was setting in. And before his family would lose him to an overdose, he was depressed and did it to himself. Oops, no, sorry, it was an accident. Before they would lose him to that, even though there was a high probability that they would lose him to murder by fentanyl, to which the government and our policing and justice system completely ignores because there's fringe benefits around that process in terms of bodies coming in. We know how I feel about this, people. I walk the talk, okay? No regrets in terms of talking about it, okay? So before they would lose him to that, oops, it was an accident. Oh, no, sorry, he was depressed. He just decided to kill himself with ODing on toxic drugs that we never do anything about except talk about and invest money in to prop up what we want to prop up, but we don't get it out off the streets, lock up people for murder. Okay? In terms of, that's what the politicians do. They sent him back home. Hold on a minute. Okay, so anyway, as I was saying. Oh, God. What did I just do? There we go. Vacuum sealing the jar. Right? You see? Okay. So we know the video's up, so that's good. Okay, I'm not putting it up on YouTube, people. Just not. There are some other things that I want to do, but obviously I have to take care of the home front first. Okay, maybe I went a little overboard, but you know what? I got good nutritional food. It's been stored pretty good in terms of it should last a long time. And I already made the commitment to not, I don't want to say overspend or spend, but basically I already made the commitment not to spend money over the next, once I get settled in, right, and I'm getting more into a routine. I don't need to buy groceries. I really don't, people. Oh yeah, maybe milk once, fresh milk, but even then, like, you know, Pastor Granny gives me this 1% milk, or, yeah, it's usually 1% or 0% milk, right? But then, if you have, this is not the brand that I bought in bulk, okay? The other one, next time I get the whole milk in bulk, I am going to get them in these from the same company. But I got these two, it was too much money, 2 for $36 off of Amazon. I can't speak for the product because I haven't used it yet. But the other company from Alberta sells the same kind of stuff, but it's just in bulk, right? So like you can get like 12 packs already vacuum sealed versus using jars like I did this time for, you know, 100 and, I don't know. I just know that if you get them vacuum sealed already from the company versus buying in bulk like I did, I think you're paying like $2 extra per bag, $2 or $3 extra per bag, and it's already vacuum sealed with the exhaust, you know, whatever they do, okay? Which, next time after I use some of this whole milk, that's the way I'm going to do it. 1, to cut back on the jars because jars are heavy. And 2, you know, for what it's worth, an extra $2 for somebody else to have it all nicely vacuum sealed for me is you know, it makes sense, right? So, once everything's all done and it's all pretty much put away, and I hunker in for winter, I don't really need to go off and buy anything, people. And I'm going to have quality food in the house. It's just a matter of making a menu, which, you know, I don't know. I need to up the ante in terms of, I go crazy in my head trying to figure out how to bring in more calories for Amari, right? Yeah. So I'm going to work on building in I guess just a cookbook. Get back to that Amari's side dish. I have to get back on that bandwagon and get onto Amari's side dish and work on building in an actual menu plan where, you know, his calorie intake is higher, because children with cerebral palsy, you know, tend to have, some of them, not all of them, but some of them have issues with weight gain, right? Although if you stuff them all the time, and you can't feed them all the time because the stomach needs to digest food and then it has to come out, right? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, sometimes, right, you know, you don't want big bloated bellies and they're going to start puking the shit up because they're so full, right? And I mean, there's a balance in there, and it's, you know, so what they do for the balance, you know, they try and bring in stuff like this. I haven't opened this can up because I just got it, which has 25 more calories per serving. See, calories, they're basing it on calories, right? Than what this is replacing in terms of the Pediasure that I was giving him, right? And, you know, so... But what I'm trying to say is, like, after it's all said and done, I don't really need to go to the grocery store that much, right? So, you know, no regrets, right? So, anyway, back to Freddy. So, we know ShaMay was with him for 5 years. We know that she was sabotaged in terms of who came up behind her and imported herself into a love triangle that ultimately got ShaMay murdered, okay? And through that process, I guess Freddy got depressed, right? And fell off to the wayside and started to become addicted to drugs. So before his family was going to lose him to what goes on out here in terms of, he did it to himself. He was depressed over ShaMay. Oh, sorry, you don't want to accept that it was suicide? Well, we'll just change it to, it was an accident. Move along. Before his family would lose him to that kind of rhetoric, I guess they sent him to Honduras. Now, I can't be sure about this because this is just all through the grapevine. All right? And like, it really brought tears to my eyes because I cared about Freddy. Simply because he was with my daughter for 5 years, and for the majority of the time that they were together, they had a pretty good relationship. Near the end, it got a little volatile. But then, at the same time, it was being sabotaged, right? You know, with people planting tampons and all this other shit and having sex with him, as ShaMay and him were kind of in and out of a relationship just to cause trouble, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So I guess he went down to Honduras. That's where his family sent him because that's where they came from. And within a month or so, somehow, some way, he lost his life. That's what I've heard through the grapevine, people. So even when you think you're trying to save your kids, you can't save your kids because it's just something wrong. There's something wrong with society. Like, they literally sent him away, if that's true, to save him. And within a month, he's gone. And they don't even have a body to bury because he's like 3,000 miles away. No, I don't know. I'll find out more as time goes by. But it's sad. It's really, really sad because what it's boiling down to is almost every household that I know of is losing somebody in their house in terms of a young person. It's just a matter of time. Because our policing agencies and our governments aren't doing a good job with keeping us safe when it comes to volatile drugs that bring in dead bodies so that they can be harvested and made money off of, basically. So I'm going to leave it now on that, okay? Because, like, you know, it just makes me so sad. I don't know what to do. I'm just waiting for the next phone call. Right? Who's next? Which household is next? Who's the next young person? It's like, it brings me back to those biblical days when, I don't know who the heck it was. Can't remember right now. I'm so frustrated with it all. But somebody cursed, right? You know, the Pharaoh and his magicians, they cursed, you know, the public, right? And if you didn't have blood on your door to scare off the plague, it came in and it killed your firstborn. And then it bounced back at him, and his firstborn ended up dying, right? Well, it's kind of like the same thing. I feel like something is going through household to household, just snuffing out young people, because there's so many of them dying. But you see, that's the thing, and I'm going to leave it on this note. It's not a big deal, though, because the government can hide it, people, and that's the problem. All they do is bring in the immigrant to fill the gap, okay? If we had 5.6 million individuals living in the province of British Columbia, Canada, a year ago, and we had, we'll just say, 5,000 people die under suspicious circumstances, but they were all dubbed as accident or suicide. Okay, you shave off that 5,000 off of that 5.6 million, right? I mean, the government doesn't want you to know, right, really what's going on, okay? So they're just going to bring in 5,000 more immigrants to replace the lost numbers. So next year, when we say we have 5.7 million people, that's because they brought in the 5,000 to replace the 5,000 that died off, on top of bringing in even more to make it look like that our society is operating normally in terms of we are repopulating ourselves, when in fact that is not true. Because the people that are born in this country are being picked off one by one. Whether it's the elderly people for their assets being locked away like a dirty secret after the fact, or whether it's the young people for their teeth and their organs. And, there's that dark web with snuff movies if they think they can get away with it. And right now, they can get away with it. And that's why I put that video up on BitChute, okay? Because this is what we're dealing with. Now, whether that individual is actually one of them, I can't say for certain, but I can definitely say that he's in partnership with them, okay? Because whatever the hell is going on is not normal. And people need to really just wrap their head around it and start opening up and looking to see what's on the inside of what so-called represents the general public.
Diet, or will they believe the new variant yarn that they're going to be told? And I can tell you that's what they will say. It's a brand new variant, it's targeting children. We've all got to protect the children, and they may well try and mandate on the back of that, and then the manhunt begins, and they'll be able to fill up these large quarantine centres, won't they?
They're building them everywhere too. They're building them here in Australia. I've been in touch with a number of people globally from Australia, New Zealand. My heart goes out to you. I'm honestly of the opinion that the only one that's going to save Australians is Australians.
Okay, so same day, it's what, September 13th, 2021?
And we dug up some really small...
When I was in my fridge and I grabbed those little grapes, which I'm really happy I had, people, because I didn't get no grapes this year, okay, in terms of the small little grapes, because of those people that moved in next door, so obviously they, took over the grapevine on that side of the fence. And then on this side of the fence, I gave some to my landlady. That, she said, leave them for about another week, I'll come back. But anyway, even if she came back, there is none, because for whatever reason, they all disappeared. A whole bunch ended up on the ground. I don't know if that guy that was doing those gutters did something. Andre says that he knocked them all around and knocked them off the vine, but besides that point, I didn't get any. So I'm glad I had those in the freezer from a couple of years ago or whenever it was, because it worked out really, really well. This jar I didn't can, but this is the jar that Amari will basically eat from for the next 2-3 days, right? Because this is a fairly large jar. And, right, I mix it again, you know how I do that, right? So as I was in the freezer, I also pulled out some bread.
And the point is that this is because getting you out of there makes it no longer associated.
When Sierra was alive and dropped it off,
okay, this is a very obvious reality. It's a very, very thin slice of the pie.
Basically, what I'm doing right now is I'm just cutting them up.
I told you this would happen because
to dry them,
it's an obvious reality.
As well as I got some bread from Pastor Granny, which is drying.
Make you pass out. Or can make you
because we know I want at least one more case of breadcrumbs, then I can feel, I don't know, whatever it is that I'm trying to feel here. Because with breadcrumbs, you can do stuff like this. I don't know if you can see that, but it says white bean sausage, which basically uses white kidney beans. But you could use chickpeas, whatever, with breadcrumbs. And when I make this, I'm actually going to put meat in with it as well. That's just one example of what you can do with breadcrumbs, okay? Because you're like,
no, I probably don't have it.
Probably thinking, why does this woman need so many breadcrumbs? Well, because it's a good filler to
crashing into a boat.
Build on your meals.
Just left the vaccine administration, the injection administration.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't look like I have. In any case,
and
this is an obvious reality, and it's just one small piece.
It doesn't take much to make them. Right.
Get into the picture around what happened.
So I'm just cutting this up right now.
Right, most people don't even know.
The reason I turned on the camera. Let me just turn off this guy for a minute.
In case you were confused. Oh yeah, we're going back, right? This Lindsey Graham, U.S. soldiers returned to Afghanistan. This has never been off the table. And by the way,
Okay, we're not going to talk about those politics right now. Right? Well, the reason I turned on the computer is because I wanted to mention that the boyfriend of ShaMay, really her first boyfriend, she was with him for 5 years, Freddy, right? He's dead. I mean, this is British Columbia, Canada. Why are we not surprised, people? Like, there is so many young people. It's almost like every household, if you're poor white, black, basically, unless, of course, you're highly affluent, then not so much, right? But there's not too many affluent black people around. If you're native and Hispanic, that type of thing, right? It's almost like every household is losing a young person. All right? Shayna is dead, got shot down, right? 7:30 in the morning with some so-called individual out in the street just shooting into a shanty shack that had no hydro and was boarded up, and she was just kind of like living on the fringe, right? For whatever reason, she gets it in the head, but the boyfriend that was 10 years older than her got it in the foot. Okay? She's gone. Obviously ShaMay, right? She was one of the first ones to go. I mean, there was more before her, right? But, you know, we'll go from ShaMay, right? ShaMay, right? Murdered in her own house with medical fentanyl, with her cigarettes being laced. Cops covered it up so her body could be illegally organ harvested. And her teeth. They took out her teeth, people. Okay? And then, who died next? It was Howie, because he ate the dope, right? To protect whoever it was that was in the car driving at the time, because the cops stopped them. And the cops detained them, right? And, you know, he didn't get a chance to puke it up fast enough, and by the time he did, it was too fucking late. Okay? That's the narrative that's the narrative that's out and about in the community. Okay? And I could see that happening. Right? But then it was Julian at a gas station, got shot down. Right? No justice for him either. Right? And then one of Julian's friends died. Right? And then it was Shayna. Right? And then it was another one of Julian's friends. Just recently, within the last month. So 2 of his friends, right, gone. So that's 3 of them that I'm aware of. I think there's 4 in there, right? And then Freddy. Now Freddy. One of his friends died last month, Julian's friends. And then this, just like a few days ago, Freddy, right? Now, nobody's really talking about how he died, but I think, you know, I mean, if it was a car accident, we'd know about it, right? Right? If he was shot down in the public, it would be some sort of little article. It wouldn't be a big one, but be a little one, right? Nothing showing yet. So more than likely had something to do with fentanyl. And of course they'll just say, oh, well, he did it to himself. He must have been depressed. He was suicidal, right? You know, he just, right? You know, and they'll cover up fucking murder, people. Like, it's like, I live in a, I don't even want to say 2-tiered system. It's like I live in 2 worlds. Over there is Uncle John, Sierra, right? Oh yeah, don't forget Sierra died, right? Right? And how many is that already? That's more than 5 in the last fucking year, right? Right? You know, you got Uncle John, ShaMay, Sierra, Shayna, Freddy, Julian, Howie, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. All dead, all basically young people over there. And then on this realm, right? Like, I so want to cry. You know? ShaMay was with him for 5 years, people. Right? And I know what our government is doing. Okay? Like, what kind of government allows this shit to happen year after year after year? Because they're harvesting the bodies, people. If they've got good teeth, they're taking out the teeth. right? They don't want people to see what the fuck it is that they're doing. So they're denying access to tens of thousands, okay? Hundreds of thousands of people that are being basically illegally detained within our healthcare system. Whether it's the elderly, right, on lockdown for their safety, even though they're dying in droves, as the government gets rich because they're capitalizing off of those pension plans and all that shit that they don't have to pay out for anymore, not to mention whatever it is that they're doing with their bodies, these bodies. And then the young people. Fuels that underground economy. As families like mine are being pushed out of our houses, being pushed out of our province, being pushed out of our country, if we're not basically being targeted for murder, okay? As the cops cover it up, because somehow, some way, they're making dividends off of it. Right along with the paramedics in the coroner's office. Okay? I'm not going to stop, people. Okay, I went and took a fucking taxi today. I was, like, so scared to go pick up whatever document was sitting at that little post office for me, because I'm just waiting for my government to crush me. Because they're not going to want to stand and face the music in a court setting. Right? But instead, it was seeds. As the young people around me are dying in droves. Starting to think like every household is losing a child. You know, because there's other ones before ShaMay who died, right? I didn't know them personally, but I knew them through arm's length, right? Their kid's dead too, right? Howie was in my house. He slept in the basement, people, for a few months. I kept telling him to go home, right? A couple years later, he was dead, right? You know, Amari is a freaking orphan because of fucking an incompetent government, basically. Our governments are incompetent. And not only are they incompetent, but they exploit us, people. Okay? They play favoritism and they discriminate against those that they can exploit. Well, they play favoritism with the crooks, the people that can use their money to commit more crime in our society as they infiltrate our public services and our public facilities and our public workers. I don't know what kind of life this is. And this is what people need to really stop and think about. Like, what kind of fucking life is this? Right? What, you waiting for a dead body to show up so that you can take out whatever you want and then put it into your body and then say, oh, well, this is a great grand life I live? Well, I guess for a walking zombie, it makes sense that they would need body parts, right? Because why else would this shit be going on outside of whatever is out there in terms of the predator class literally are feeding off of us. Literally, I'm telling you, literally. And not only are they literally feeding off of us, but they're filming it and they're making their money on the black web with their fucking snuff movies. No wonder why I want to cry. I loved Shayna. Shayna is dead and has no justice. I can't say I loved Howie, but, you know, I was a little concerned for him. That's why I told him to go home. Right? And look what happened. He's dead too. Right? I can't say I really loved Freddy, but, you know, I respected ShaMay and him with their 5-year relationship, to which he is now dead, to which he should not be if we had a competent government doing their duty to the public. You can't have dead young people in almost every freaking house in this province that are below a certain income level and have been dubbed to be harvested. As the cops, like I say, just play fucking lip service and say, oh well, he was depressed. Clearly he did it to himself. Or it was an accident. No, people, it's not an accident. This is by design. Just remember that. Okay, so as we can see, it's marble rye. Okay? It was $4.29. And it was best before September of 2019. But the bread itself, because it's been in the freezer, is fine. Okay? As long as it's not soggy. And then it's not soggy. Okay, so that's like $10 worth of bread there. Right? From, what, 2019. It's been sitting up in the freezer. So, if you don't know, just chop them up into little squares. And then after the fact, every couple of hours, at least in the beginning, and don't overpack your jar, right? In terms of the breadcrumbs. Aren't in your jar. What am I talking about? Your, what the heck? Your, bowl, right? Or whatever container. And then you just do like that. Right? Just circulate so nothing molding in there, right? You want to prevent mold, so you got to keep doing this, eh? Okay. Okay, so now there's more apples. I have some apples in Auntie ShaMay's fridge from the apple tree that I will be now just keeping there until the large grapes with the seeds are ready. And assuming that they're out there when it's come time to harvest them, then I will be doing those grapes with whatever's left over in terms of apples from the tree. In the meantime, here's that mango that Pastor Granny gave me. Apparently you can't can mango basically by itself because it doesn't have enough petition in it. So you either want to use lemon juice or can it with something else like an apple, right? In this situation, I'm canning it with apple, so we're doing apple mango, right? Okay. And then I'm going to throw in, oh, I don't know, maybe about a quarter cup of lemon juice anyway. And then, oh boy. There we go. And then about, oh, I don't know. We'll taste it and see how much sugar I put in there. Right? I already peeled these the other night, okay, before I went to bed. So now we're just going to cook everything up, right? And like I said, add a little bit of lemon juice and some sugar. And yeah, it's just another food group for Amari, right? Okay, so this mango with apple, because that mango was really ripe, people, the one that Pastor Granny gave me. Oh man, with adding it with the apple, and I put 1 cup of sugar in here and only 3 tablespoons of lemon because I have the apple in it, right? If there would have been no apple in it, I would have had to add more sugar and more lemon because, again, it doesn't have whatever it is that, you know, that petition, right? You know, that's why whenever you're working with a fruit that is like that, if you can go half apple and half the fruit, like the mango, then you're pretty safe. And if you throw in a bit of sugar and a little bit of lemon, you're good to go. But this is so good. I don't normally eat mangoes, people. It's just something I didn't grow up with, right? But, oh, this is delicious. Because again, that mango was really, really ripe. Oh, what am I doing with the camera? I'm boiling. I'm under the hot stove again. What's new? What's your cat? But if I didn't have Amari in the condition that he's in, I wouldn't be doing all this. But really, I do it for him because I give him this kind of stuff almost every day. Almost every day he gets a little fruit of some kind that I can for him at some point. Yeah. Right now he's eating that grape and apple. I mix it in with his food. He had egg with butter and beets, shredded beets, with the apple, with the grape, and he just gobbled everything up. He really liked it. This he's gonna really like. This is even better than what I made with the apple and the grapes. I've got more grapes coming though. Right? Different kind of grape. They have to stay out there though. The longer they stay out there, the riper they get, the better it is. Yeah. Oh boy. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock. And can you hear him? Where is he? Oh, he no buggering nose. My water. I'm boiling jars. Hold on. She's full of vinegar. Are you full of vinegar, Amari? You're just full of vinegar. I can hear you.
What about both of us are?
Yeah, you too. You're both full of vinegar. My little bottles of vinegar. I'm so tired. I've been keeping such a steady pace, people, you can't imagine. Just keeping real wonker hours. Right after this, gotta get up early in the morning because he's gotta, because of his condition, right? The doctors, they like to touch base once a year or whatever it is, right? I feel so set up with what they did to him, people, you don't know. But what can I do? And then when they turn 19, they don't really care anymore. The people that work with me with the team, right? That I'm hooked up with the workers, right? Just 'cause there's a few of them, right? Yeah, they tell me, children like him really do need advocates. Advocates for their whole life. Because as they get older, people lose interest because they're not children anymore, right? I try not to worry about it, people. Oh. But yeah, I've been keeping really wonker hours, canning at 2, crashing, getting up and starting all over again. Just try and squeeze in this, and it's almost 10 now, right? So this is all I'm doing tonight, and then I'll crash, try and get them to go to sleep. And the house smells like mango right now, right? And then see, I'm so tired. And then tomorrow it's corn all day. And just miscellaneous, those kind of things, right? And then laundry, yard, right? And just breadcrumbs. I'm gonna grind up breadcrumbs soon. All right. sleep. He says, Nana. He says, Nana, I don't want to go to sleep. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You're full of vinegar. You're just full of vinegar. Oh, Mr. Vinegar. Mr. Vinegar. Mr. Vinegar. You're Mr. Vinegar.
Both of us.
I know. I know. I know. Mr. Vinegar. Mr. Vinegar. You're full of vinegar. You're just full of vinegar. You're Mr. Vinegar. You're Mr. I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you. Mr. Vinegar. Mr. Vinegar. There goes those legs. There goes those legs. There goes those legs. Mr. Vinegar. Move, move, Mr. Vinegar number 2. Move your butt.
I'll try it.
You coming up? You want to sit up? Yeah, is that it? There you go. There you go. Where are you? Mr. Vinegar. Nana was so proud of you today, sitting up in that car. Oh my, you're just hollering and screaming at 10 o'clock at night. You don't look like you're tired. No, you don't look like you're tired.
Maybe you should wait for my hair for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Boo. You're so handsome. You're so handsome, Mr. Handsome. You're Mr. Handsome. You're Mr. Handsome. Oh, chicka. Oh, chicka. Oh, chicka. He's always so happy. You're always so happy. Oh, yes, you are. Yeah. I've had someone ask me from that team, right? You know, I guess oftentimes children like him, they're aggressive. I said, not a Murray. Murray's happy. Murray's a happy little baby. People get, you know, they need their, what is it called, reprieve, because, you know, the children are aggressive, right? And I'm like, no, Murray's not aggressive. I'm just old and tired. But then some of it I do to myself, though. I overwork myself. Yes, I do. Can you please turn that down? Turn it off. It's time to. It's time for bed. Okay, I mean it. Come on, we gotta get up early, fast. Come on.
I don't have to get up early.
Andre, get up. And it's bedtime. It's 10 o'clock.
I'm not going to office.
No, we're doing corn. You're gonna get up and husk corn for me. You're waking up the neighborhood. You're waking up the neighborhood. Yeah, you are. You're waking up the neighborhood. What you doing? What is that? What is that? Do you know? Do you know what that is? You know it's something, don't you? You little monkey. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Mr. Vinegar. Mr. Vinegar. Don't get any ideas.